All right, guys, welcome in. This is your Fielder's Choice. This is our NFL DFS breakdown. We're talking NFL, guys. We're excited, obviously, to get into the main slate, and we're past preseason. We got the Thursday night football game out of the way, so this is your Fielder's Choice. My name is Adam, also known as V12, and I'm brought by my guy here with Chris Duffy. And sorry, guys, as we're going through, I'm looking and I want to make sure that we have everything set up as far as the YouTube and all of our intros and stuff like that to make sure all of our screens are the right way. So, we're excited, guys. Obviously, we are bringing you NFL content, which is always exciting for us. But at the same time, we're just, ready to really make some money. NFL always has the biggest contests. And Chris, I know you're excited. I know you're a big college guy too. So this is a big day, as we're doing this on Saturday morning. We got a lot of DFS ahead of us, man. So welcome in. How are you doing this morning, good sir?
Doing great, man. Got my Wheaties in, and I'm ready to attack this slate, man. It's a fun one to kick off the year.
Yeah, man, it's exciting. NFL Week 1 is like, it's I don't know. It's one of those. We talked about it, right? We said it's kind of wide open.
Yeah.
I'm not saying play who you want, but it's definitely wide open from what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah, for sure. The ownership's kind of spread out. There's some obvious plays we'll talk about, and some stands I'm going to take, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, brother. Well, obviously, I'm a big Eagles guy. Even though I'm located here in Texas. Tell me, I mean, who's your team? Like, who are you going to be touting?
Oh, I'm always a homer, and I'm going to be touting the Packers, but I'm not super high in them. For definitely, always have them in some GPPs, but
for sure,
I won't have them in as much cash.
Yeah, you're like me, I think. Yeah, you always have to play the Packers stack, at least one Packers stack. That's right.
Yeah. Run the whole game.
That's right. Aaron Rodgers can definitely win you some money, man, for sure. So, like I said, that's something to be excited about. But yeah, guys, as we're brought in here, me and Chris, obviously, there's going to be different hosts throughout the year. We're going to try to keep this show short and sweet for you, roughly about 30 minutes, so you know the expectation from us. We want to make sure that you can get it in, get the content that you need, get our takes, some things that we're taking stances on, and also we're going to give you guys a sneak peek. Our cheat sheet is up and running for NFL. I know there was a lot of hard work, so thank you to Gervais. Gervais is like, he was working on it nonstop yesterday, trying to get, ownership and projections dialed in. But obviously week 1, you can get some weird pricing. The algorithms have not really kicked in. So obviously DraftKings, FanDuel, they're going to be playing a little bit of catch up there. But guys, we're at yourfielderschoice.com. Be sure to check that out right now. We do have our MLB promo that is ending, and we're going to be featuring a new promo for NFL. But obviously for the price, the content that you're getting from all of us premium wise outside of NFL, there's a huge college, assortment of articles and live streams and just different things for you to dig into. And obviously we have cheat sheets for a lot of different sports out there. Our free Discord, which I will link in our comments section, is available to you as well. But with that being said, that free Discord does have premium channels. So if you have, need to whenever go in and be part of the community, our Discord is free. So be sure to check that out. As well as if you're watching this on socials, YouTube, Twitch, or anything like that, be sure to hit the thumbs up, hit the notification bell as well. Subscribe. We appreciate it. It helps us out, guys. And that's it for as far as the intro, Chris. Man, we're going to dig right in. I mean, we're excited about NFL. We are going to talk position by position, and we're going to go through that and cover up with some stacking at the end, maybe some lineup building notes, and kind of close the show out for you guys. So you ready to dig right in, Duff?
I'm ready to go, man.
Let's do it, brother. All right, man. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to talk a little bit first about the quarterback position. With the quarterback position, we do have obviously a lot of different options, and I'm sharing this cheat sheet to where it's nice and beautiful. You'll see the football cheat sheet up here. Obviously NFL and college, but we do have the tabs of the different positions on here. But I will talk a little bit about our specific projections. So we have FanDuel and DK, which you can obviously sort by over here and kind of see who everybody's on right now. You see Jalen Hurts obviously at the top of the ownership projections right now, which I can't be upset about, obviously, because, that's my guy. But, 6,800 on DraftKings is relatively cheap, anything below south of that 7K mark. So obviously he's going to be somebody that people are going to look at. Lamar Jackson, obviously, depending on if they don't have J.K. Dobbins, he's projected to rush a lot more. So he's somebody to talk about as well. And then, you can't go wrong with Patrick Mahomes in a really high shootout game total as well. So what's cool, Duff, is that if you guys are looking at the cheat sheet, is that we can actually sort by, Vegas lines, implied totals, what the spread is. Is it going to be a blowout? So really cool tool to look at. You guys can check that out. So with that being at the top, Chris, what do you think? I mean, in regards to just ownership, is there somebody up here that you're looking at from a cash game standpoint?
Yeah, personally, I think I don't know about ownership, but upper tier for cash, and I'm going to be overweight on them is Mahomes. I'm looking to mix him with Kelsey more likely. We'll get that at tight ends, but yeah, I think it's it's a high paced game. They got the highest total, and we should be able to get them at decent ownership.
Right.
So if I'm playing upper tier, and right now at the moment I am overweight on Mahomes.
Okay.
So the highest owned guy I think will be Hurts, and that's your boy, and you'll know more about him. But I definitely think he's a cash game play. I don't know if I'm going to go there personally, but he's in play for sure. And then what are your thoughts on Hurts?
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. Like, obviously, being an Eagles guy, it is a very much a prove it situation here for Jalen Hurts. Like, he has to prove it with the tools. Bringing in AJ Brown, which kind of really puts Devontae and all his auxiliary, Quez Watkins, Dallas Goedert, in the role of like, hey, he's got this big weapon, this big guy that can run those nice little slant routes, that can get up there and compete for 50-50 balls. I mean, he just has this amazing weapon out there. So obviously I like Hurts in the sense that he has the offense there, but you also add in the fact that he's going to do some damage with his legs. He's obviously going to be a guy that is going to be able to move quite well. He seems relatively healthy, even if his arm is not going to do most of the work. Obviously, from I guess the standpoint of him being able to being a dual threat quarterback, usually those are the ones in DFS that we like to target, as i.e., Josh Allen on the Thursday night game, and Josh Allen didn't even start running until later in the game. So obviously, he can definitely accrue those points. He can steal some rushing touchdowns as well. Jalen Hurts is playing in a dome here on the road, being a favorite 4.5 points. At Detroit. Detroit is definitely the preseason darlings. Anytime you have the hard knocks teams, obviously people are going to be a little bit higher on them. So I think that Jalen Hurts makes a lot of sense here for me, especially from a pricing standpoint. I will say that I will probably play Hurts in cash. He will not necessarily be my single entry GPP tournaments guy, even though those are usually cash plays that you do. So obviously he's somebody I'm looking at. I do really like the Patrick Mahomes call, just because the sense that it's a high total, man. Like I said, that game is going to be a relatively kind of like a Madden-esque shootout here playing the Cardinals. So, and that's a late hammer. So obviously I don't know if people are really big into that, but if you're talking about DFS and NFL, if it doesn't start off the way you want, if you have access and some exposure to those late games, it's going to be something to definitely look at. So, I love that call. Obviously, we can talk about a ton of different plays on the quarterback. I mean, because I think Lamar Jackson is really going to pick up some steam when it comes to ownership, especially because people are looking at him, looking at the Jets, and like, it just makes a lot of sense here. So, and you can go definitely anybody in that upper tier. I did see some guys. I know there's a divisional matchup with Joe Burrow with the Steelers and stuff. So that's he's only 6.4K. And this is Joe Burrow, the white boy with all the swag. So, I mean, and you got Aaron Rodgers down there. He's only at 7K against a very bad Minnesota secondary. So these are the upper tier plays here. If we're looking at it from a value standpoint, Duff, and I want to be like, okay, Hurts is going to have the ownership here. Who are you looking at? It doesn't have to necessarily be priced down low, but somebody that maybe not the public is high on, but you have a feeling like this guy is going to come out. Because I think that, you look at a player like a Trey Lance for me, only 6K against the Bears, dual threat. People still, if they don't follow NFL, they kind of thinking, oh, well, it's only a matter of time. They're going to pull him. They're going to have Jimmy G in or whatever it is. So I don't know. Who is your favorite, value quarterback?
So the way I'm looking at quarterback real quick, if if you play a guy like Jackson or Hurts, you can play them by themselves because they got the legs to do it, right? They don't need to be a receiver. But if I play like a Burrow, I like him at value. I'll put a Jamar Chase, who's a beast. A Higgins, a Boyd. So I like Burrow, and the three values I like are Burrow, Carr, and Winston.
Okay.
I do think the Las Vegas and Charger game might be overlooked a little bit. So I'm gonna go with Carr there and match him with one of those with my buddy Adam. Well, not my buddy, but my ex-Packer Devontae Adams. Maybe even a Waller. So I definitely don't mind a game stack there in GPPs. But if I'm going lower, or he's a little up there, but 5.9's value on this slate, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. I love that. GPP, we want to kind of close out quarterback. We want to keep it moving. I mean, is there a guy that, pricing doesn't matter, just somebody you just have a feeling about that we should be looking at?
Yeah, like I said, Mahomes, I mean, I'm really, as far as I'm looking so far, is Winston. I mean, you can name a ton, but yeah, I've kind of covered. I've covered.
There's a lot out there.
I think Rodgers, of course, not trying to be a homer, he will be overlooked here because 7K is still kind of high, and his receiver situation is just a mess.
Yeah, I get, and honestly, I think that if I'm just looking from, I guess a game theory standpoint, late hammer, Kyler Murray on the other side of that game with Mahomes. Kyler Murray is only, he's 7.2 on DraftKings. Obviously, you have the I guess what do you say? Like, he had the contract situation, is he a film study guy? What are some things that, we should be looking at with him? But I think that he could definitely be somebody that you can look at and you can say, hey, look, like this guy legitimately in GPP could be a GPP winner just because the fact that the Chiefs have notoriously high scoring games and, I think the Cardinals, they're not going to have Hopkins, and Kyler's kind of one of those guys. He has that mentality. He has to prove people wrong. He's always been looked at as a small guy and whatnot. So I definitely like some Kyler Murray, and I'm going to be playing some GPP with it. But yeah, man, that's awesome. Obviously, guys, be sure to check out yourfilterschoice.com. Check out our article, and we're going to have a lot of quarterback plays. But we are going to move in over to the running back position, and we're going to go back over to the cheat sheet here, and we're going to talk a little bit in regards to ownership. So we're going to tab over running back, and obviously it's a little bit different looking. It's just like I said, from, you're looking at rushes per, attempts. Obviously we have receiving yards as well as going to be on there. We're going to, sort by DraftKings and FanDuel. It looks like FanDuel, Jonathan Taylor is going to be the runaway, ownership guy, just because on a FanDuel slate with the scoring, DraftKings has that, PPR scoring. FanDuel, Jonathan Taylor is going to be the guy that you're really going to look at here. And he's going to be in play on DraftKings too, but he's also 9-1 on DraftKings. And you can see by the pricing over here on this side that, obviously you're looking at it, that the red is not good. So that means we're going to pay a little bit more for these guys. So I think from a cash game standpoint, I do have it sorted by DraftKings right now. You're looking at Christian McCaffrey here, only 8,500 on DraftKings. Saquon Barkley is going to be getting a lot of ownership. Dameon Pierce is on there as well. I'm kind of surprised, and I'll be honest with you, Duff, about the ownership, and I get it, but there's a lot of really cheap, mispriced guys on here that I'm going to be looking at. So from a cash game standpoint, and we're looking at ownership, I do think McCaffrey makes all the sense in the world. You have essentially almost a kind of a pick-em game here with the Panthers and the Browns. McCaffrey is a PPR guy. He fits DraftKings scoring perfectly. So from a cash game standpoint, he's somebody to look at. Dameon Pierce, obviously named the running back one by Lovie Smith here in my native Houston, and the Texans. And then, you got your guy Aaron Jones. I know a lot of people are high on him, especially with that price tag, man. But I will mention there's one, and I don't even see him on here, but I'm sure that we can look him up, if you're looking at, the DraftKings build. But, you have Edmonds down there in Miami. He's mispriced. I think he's like 5'4" or something like that. So that, Dameon Pierce, there's going to be a lot of guys. Antonio Gibson, obviously, that's it was unfortunate for Brian Robinson, being a victim of getting shot, and he's in road to recovery. I don't think he's going to suit up for a while. So Antonio Gibson's a big PPR guy. I'm saying a lot here, obviously, Duff. What do you think in regards to running back from a cash game evaluation, DraftKings and FanDuel?
Yeah, so McCaffrey on DraftKings under 9K. Taylor definitely is a pretty good lock on FanDuel. But McCaffrey's under 9K. They say he's healthy. They said that a couple times last year, I think, and it didn't work out. But I definitely like McCaffrey up there. Of course, I think he'll be, and as far as ownership and running backs, I think it's really hard these days to find an edge, and people are sharp. So ownership will be spread out because there is a couple plays, like you said, that make sense. I think McCaffrey's one of them. Barkley's one of them. I think that's kind of your cash game plays right there. If you're going to put one in the flex, people are going to look at Swift, and that's kind of what I'm looking at for cash. I think people will still play Taylor on DK too, just for those raw points, just because there's value in quarterback, and not necessarily value in quarterback. There's 6K quarterbacks, or but there's definitely value in receiver or tight end for 3.5, or a cheap defense. So I still think Taylor will get in there. I think he's a solid play there, of course, against Houston. They're supposed to lead, so maybe Taylor is a good pivot off McCaffrey, but cash games, them are kind of the players I'm looking at.
Right, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I think that like you were saying, I mean, just from the just from looking at it from a raw point standpoint, I see Edmonds popped up on here when I put the opponent data, obviously on, looking at, the opposing team and what they're adding in regards to, I guess points allowed or whatever it is. So, I'm kind of digging through, obviously, on here. It looks like the opponent, I think Edmonds might be wrong because I think the opponent is Pittsburgh here, so we're going to have to look at that. But all the other ones appear right. You're right. Jonathan Taylor's kind of that guy. He is, he is just the guy that you don't play, and then every week he burns you. And I think that's what happened last year. Everybody's like, oh, I can't play Jonathan Taylor here. I can't play. There's no way he could keep this up, right? And then that's all he did. He just kept it up over and over and over again. And so, he was the guy that I think that you have to look at from a raw points data on DraftKings. I don't think he's a must at 9.1, but I think that he is definitely going to be in consideration because of all the value you're going to have from other positions. I talked about Chase Edmonds, obviously 5'8" on FanDuel, 5'2" on DraftKings here. Joe Mixon, he's a guy that should look to have a really big year here, especially with that Cincinnati offense. And Derrick Henry won't get talked about enough, obviously, here facing a Giants team. So I think that what I would be looking at, you mentioned DeAndre Swift, and if I do play Jalen Hurts, I really like that game on the run back side of things. I think that even Eric wrote this up, is that he's right. The Eagles are, I watch all their games. They're not great, and they don't have the worry of really stopping the run. Like, they're going to allow some stuff to happen. They're going to allow Swift to catch some balls out of the backfield. So all that being said, I really think that, he's somebody that could do really well, and he might find his way at 6.8K on DraftKings. I'm mainly a DraftKings player in my lineup here, but let me ask you real quick, because we talked about Aaron Jones a little bit, and you have AJ Dillon. From a Packers standpoint, you're the home guy here. What is the expectation in regards to their usage? What do you think?
I mean, I really do like Jones here because he's a good receiving back, and they're gonna need him to run some routes and catch some pigskin there. So I do like Jones for sure, especially at 6,700. I think that's a great ask on DraftKings. So he's in the player pool. I don't necessarily know if I'll go there for sure, but yeah, definitely like him.
Awesome. So we want to keep moving along. Last look on running back. Is there anything else that is worth mentioning, I guess, that we should be looking at?
Yeah, I'll go quickly here, but there are a couple things. I'm taking a stand. Like, I will use these players in cash. I really like Kamara. He's standing out to me. We're going to get him low ownership. Atlanta is not, we all know from last year, Atlanta's not the best. People started focusing on Kamara. I actually would like Thomas in. I'm going to take a stand on him either way, but I would rather have Thomas in because it takes more focus off each one. So that's a stand there. I think he's just kind of underlooked. He's a receiving back, and he can rack up the points. He's a little higher priced, and I do like Gibson for Washington. I think he's going to be overlooked. I think they're supposed to be leading the game. A lot of people are looking at the Commanders' defense, so a kind of correlation there. If they're leading the game and wants to run the ball, I think 5,800 is a pretty fair ask for Gibson there. Let me see who else, and this will be the last one I got. Oh, I wanted to ask you, and we'll finish here. There's a couple more, but time will elude us. But Sanders. So if I'm not playing hurt, I really like Sanders. And I tell you, I probably played him too much last year, and it just couldn't come through. Like he wasn't doing it. But then some games he was good, but you push it because last year he was 5,200, 5,500, and you're like, man. And he was playing people like the Jets. I'm looking at the last 4 games, the Giants, and he was playing Washington. So in the Giants, so you're like, come on, he can get the points. He did in a couple, but in a couple, you're like, crap. And didn't he get hurt on a couple of those?
Yeah, durability was a big issue with him last year. And I'll obviously close the running back with speaking about Sanders, because obviously I think that he is very underpriced. And if you're right, you don't play, Jalen Hurts. Obviously, he's somebody, you got to look at. At that price tag, that allows you to pay up at quarterback maybe, or pay up at your other running back. DraftKings does have the flex position, obviously, so you can play 3 running backs. It's a very common cash game lineups stance that people like to take. So obviously, I think that he's going to get the work, man. They're going to have some splitting here, but let's just say it's a high volume game. He's going to get the goal line work. There's no reason that he wouldn't at this point. So it's you have other running backs there. You have Kenneth Gainwell, who I really like. He'll definitely get some touches, get some looks. Boston Scott's there as well. Provides a little bit veteran leadership. But Sanders, it's his job to lose, I guess you could say. And at 5.4K, he's super cheap across the industry right now. But I definitely am going to get some Miles Sanders shares. And the last thing before we move is I always just say, guys, as running back, the position develops throughout the year and pricing algorithms catch up. Be mindful of the teams, especially on DraftKings, that they give up a lot of receptions to running backs. That's a really good data to have. Offensive line data is really sharp as well. You're looking at people like the Colts. The reason that Taylor's so good is because their offensive line is good. So, this is something in DFS a lot of people don't look at. They just look at raw points projections and what the sites think. That's where these projections come from. And you mentioned, obviously, Kamara. Atlanta, from, I don't know, at least the last 2-3 years, has been the worst in regards to allowing receptions and targets to running backs out of the backfield. And Kamara is going to be used by Jameis Winston. So obviously I love that call, Duff. That's excellent. We are going to move over to the wide receiver position, though. And we're going to go back here, and we are going to go ahead and go back to our screen share. We're going to look at our cheat sheet, and we're going to go to the wide receiver tab. We're going to move quicker here. We do have Justin Jefferson, definitely, understandably, right? Here in a division game, the Packers know him, and I don't know, man. Maybe is Jair Alexander, is he still healthy? Shutdown QB, cornerback. Is he going to be on Jefferson? What do you think?
Yeah, I like Jefferson. I'm not as high on him as everybody else. Maybe it'll bite me, but actually I'm on the counterpart. I think Thielen usually has good games against the Packers. He's only 5,400. That's a good ask for Thielen. So kind of how I'm approaching that. I'll be underweight on Jefferson.
Okay. Yeah, looking at it, you're looking at it, I guess, just all the ownership. I think Michael Pittman's obviously getting a lot of love. You kind of being wide receiver 1 and very underpriced on DraftKings, only 5,500. Looking at a couple of these other guys here. I really like T. Higgins also. I know people are really high on Jamar Chase. I like T. Higgins. Honestly, they are an offense that supports 2 receivers. He's somebody I'm definitely looking at. Hollywood Brown is obviously going to get a big bump. There's no Rondale Moore, it looks like, and Zach Ertz is questionable. I don't know that he may play, but that's a very, very high projected score game, a shootout. We talked about that from the quarterback standpoint. So he's going to be pretty popular there. I think I might go a little bit different if I play some Arizona pass catchers. I might look a little bit. I want to get my heart broken by Andy Isabella. I was waiting for him all preseason, and he just never really showed up. But so I think that going through there. Brandon Cooks is obviously a wide receiver 1 in Houston. If you anticipate them playing from behind or catch up, that's a really good script. I mean, it's a divisional game. Cooks is going to get a lot of looks, so he's definitely somebody to look at there. And Adam Thielen on the other side of that Minnesota team, you can get Adam Thielen at 2,400 less and 2,000 less on FanDuel than his teammate Justin Jefferson, and I anticipate that he's going to get very similar targets. And then you have Devontae Adams, new face, new place kind of thing, or same face, new place with the Raiders. He's definitely going to be Derek Carr's favorite option there. So yeah, I mean, from a ownership standpoint, I get it on the Justin Jefferson thing. I'm kind of with you. Is like, man, do I really want to play week 1 just to pay up for Justin Jefferson? And what doesn't look like a smash matchup. It looks like a good matchup for him, but ownership wise, sure, he's going to be there. Somebody we have to consider, but I think I might try to find some value here, man. There's a lot of good, cheap wide receivers. Juju Smith-Schuster, obviously, he's coming in at only 5,200. No Tyreek Hill out in KC, so obviously Patrick Mahomes is going to look his way, and he's going to look the way of Travis Kelce when we get to the tight end position. But yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about ownership. Like, as we dig in down, if you want to add anything there, or maybe just go down, do you like any of these value plays?
Well, I'll start. So you had talked about Murray as a good GPP play. I think Brown's probably the best bet with him. They're old college teammates, and they're ready to go. And I think that's a good correlation. Maybe put it with a Kelce and Juju, or even if you run Mahomes, you can run a Marquise Brown. I also like the Chargers receivers. I usually play one of them with Herbert. I like that game in general. Yeah, but there's so many receivers you can go. You got your old friend McLaurin, sorry. And who was I looking at? So for value, you got Kirk. He's going to be playing from behind. Can maybe match him with Lawrence, stuff like that. And yeah, Pittman, like you said, I think he's going to be high owned. I think it's a good price for him. But there might be a avenue to not go Pittman. I'm not going to tell you not to, because Taylor just may get all the run there. But yeah, guys like Thielen. And then if you're really, Schuster, Schuster. I like him, especially with Mahomes. I'm definitely going Kelce with Mahomes. I might run them both. So he's a new guy in town. You got Valdez-Scantling. Even as a Packers fan, he scares me. But a few other guys, Olave, they kind of fit. Olave.
Yeah.
Olave, he kind of fits in. Pickens. Now these are rookies, so hey, who knows? And then the last two I'll finish off with here, that I got written down. I will be playing a good amount of Romeo Dubes.
I was going to mention him.
He's only 3K, and he's going to give me some value places. And Lazard is out, so he's had a great camp. Obviously, people know he had a great preseason. People know, so I do like him, but like I think you can kind of correlate him or Cobb in there, and I guess Wendell Robinson at 3K too. Them are the only 3K guys I'm looking at. But kind of, be in Discord for sure, because we can really discuss receivers, but I don't mind playing him at 3K.
Yeah. And like you said, and before we move, like I said, you're absolutely right. Romeo Dubes, Packers are going to be a team to watch in regards to the wide receiver position, because everybody's pretty cheap, and we need to see who's going to emerge as the wide receiver 1 for Aaron Rodgers. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on, especially with the Lazard news. But yeah, Dubes, Wandale Robinson, obviously 3K, for the Giants, he's going to be super. He's going to be looked at as kind of a cheap value play, and there's a lot of guys that are down there that are super cheap. I think even Randall Cobb. You know what I mean? Like, he could get a lot of looks week 1, and he could break people's hearts and win people a lot of money at the same time. But yeah, man, wide receiver, there's a lot of places to go. Obviously, keep an eye on the Discord. We're going to move over to the tight end position here, and just to take a quick look here, and like on the cheat sheet, it looks like Kyle Pitts is obviously coming in super high. What I want to do a little bit different is we see ownership. We know that tight end, I feel like you're just going to get to pay up for someone. And these guys, these Travis Kelce's, Kyle Pitts, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, these guys that serve as the wide receiver one for their teams in the tight end position in cash are really guys that you should be looking at. That's just my opinion. I think that you can kind of get cute with tight end if you want to, but I will say that from just a data standpoint, I mean, if we're looking at, let's see, that's targets here. Yeah, you're like Andrews, Waller, Kelsey, like these are guys that we're looking at that are getting 6, 7, 8 targets. Andrews 9 targets. Like this is data that we're pulling in. And it's going to change, and you could be more touchdown dependent, like a Pat Freiermuth or something like that. But I mean, give me your favorite 2 plays from tight end, and we can move on from there. What do you think, Duff?
Yeah. So. Just a quick mention on Pitts. He's going to play. Going to be. I think a lot of sharps are going to be on him, but I'm going to be corn Kelsey. I mean, with Hill gone, this is his guy. And Arizona has been terrible against tight ends. I'm just not going to overthink it. I'm going to play Kelsey either by himself or with Mahomes. And that's kind of who I've made a core there. Tight end can be a little sporadic. And the other guy I really like is Tanyan. It is a homer play, of course, but the receiver thing's a mess. He's back healthy. He's 3,900. That's a good price. There's a couple other value tight ends you can get, and maybe tight end somewhere you want to save some money on. That's fine, but I think Tanyan is an okay price. Minnesota's okay against the tight end, but I still think. Rodgers is going to kind of rely on Tanyan a little bit. But them are the 2 I have the most at the moment.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm going to find a way to play Travis Kelce. I'm fine, honestly, playing if I can just get Darren Waller. I'm fine with that. 5-4 on DraftKings. And right below him, I don't even mind the TJ Hawkinson. But I would say that it feels kind of like Travis Kelce is the obvious here. I think Kyle Pitts is absolutely. I'm perfectly okay with that DK ownership. I do think it's not much to get that 900 to get over to Kelce. I'm going to try to do that as much as I can, and I'll play Dallas Goedert in some stacks, obviously as well. So for some Philly stuff, like I said, if I want to run a Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert, run it back with TJ Hawkinson or DeAndre Swift, something like that. Like I like that a lot. But yeah. I'm with you, man. I want to pay up. I don't want to sit here and wallow and be like, oh man, which cheap value tight end? Because I don't know. It could be Cole Kmet here. It could be Irv Smith. He's a talented pass catcher. Pat Freiermuth, 4,200. So these are obviously guys that we can look at. But I think that you're right, man. That's spot on. We want to, obviously just bank on the points that we can get with the Travis Kelce if we can get that as possible.
Yeah, so, I will say I haven't looked at tight end as much as I should have. Goddard and Waller are priced fair.
Absolutely.
I'll definitely get them in my player pool. I kind of probably skipped over them a little bit, but right. Waller, they're I like the prices. So, yep.
Yeah, brother. Obviously, like I said, as we kind of get towards the end of the show, defense, I know that you talked a little bit about the Commanders' defense. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to be like, oh, you got to play these guys. You got to play these guys. Like, play who fits. Don't worry about adjusting your lineup to make a defense fit. That's all I'm going to say. Attack rookie quarterbacks. Those are good. You want to go for turnovers, especially if you can. I don't think I'm going to be paying up for defense. I don't know who you're looking at. Just give me your favorite. I'll give you mine, and then we'll kind of round it out with cores in our stacks.
Yeah, defense is tough. I'm probably not spending up. If you are, you're probably going Colts, somewhere around there. Maybe the Niners, of course. I think they'll be kind of higher owned, right? Because that's still 4K, still good price. But I'll be honest, I will be overweight on the. I did it during preseason. I'll probably do it today. I think Commanders are good, but I'm gonna pivot off to the Patriots. I always feel like they figure out how to get like a special teams touchdown, or they get a couple interceptions, a couple good sacks. I think that's a fair price for the Patriots. Yeah, Miami does have Hill now, but Belichick is known for shutting the guy down. I don't know if they'll shut Hill down or not. But either way, I like the defense at 2,700. I'm going to be overweight on the Patriots.
I love that, man. Yeah, especially because, like I said, you're right. Belichick does that. He takes away their best player usually. And, I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know who I'm going to be on. I love a lot of these cheap defenses. So I know if I have the salary and I can pay up and get whoever I want, yeah, for sure. I'm kind of targeting the Ravens. I know they're 4K here. I'm not a big Jets believer. I could be wrong, but Baltimore tends to have those special teams, big plays and things like that. So that's a team that I'm definitely looking at. And my second one that I'm looking at, just from a pure, like I said, value standpoint, I think that there's nothing wrong here looking at the Commanders. I mean, Trevor Lawrence still has a lot to prove. I don't think he has elite weapons yet. I mean, I like Etienne at running back, obviously, depending on what James Robinson does. They got Christian Kirk. I don't know. It just feels like, okay, it's a new team still, new coaching staff. It feels like rookie 2.0 kind of thing. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but they do seem pretty solid there as well. Duff, like I said, we're kind of running low on time. Let's finish up. We're going to talk. You talked about cores. Give me, you have Kelsey. Is there one or two other core players you like?
I don't know about core, but I do have some strong convictions on guys like Kamara. Here, let me look. I know,
Mahomes. You said Mahomes, you said Kelsey, you said Kamara, right?
Yeah, Mahomes, Kelsey for sure on corn. Mahomes most likely going to core him. And then, some other guys I just have convictions on. I don't have my exact core lockdowns, but you should get a feel of how I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that you're right. It is kind of early still. We're going to kind of dial in. Obviously, keep an eye out, guys. Check the Top Plays article out. Check our GPP stuff. Keep an eye on the cheat sheet as data comes in, and we're going to talk more in our free Discord as well. So be sure to go ahead and mention that. But yeah, there was a question: are you starting Breece Hall or Tony Pollard? If you had to pick out of those two, I would say probably Breece Hall from the standpoint that he's going to get the work here. I think Tony Pollard, I like a lot. I guess now it's not the minority anymore, but more than Ezekiel Elliott. I kind of feel like he's washed up, but that's more of a fantasy standpoint with the Dallas game not being on the slate. But yeah, my core is pretty much, like I said, all Eagles. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to be building with three high projected running backs in my lineups. That's going to be my cash main. All of my GPP stuff that I'm going to build with my quarterback, I am going to run two pass catchers. So either a wide receiver and a tight end, or two wide receivers, or a pass catching running back and a wide receiver, and all of my GPP stacks. That's how I build usually, and it does really well for me. But yeah, I think that the key to the slate is don't get cute at tight end, pay up. You mentioned that. Thank you for that, Duff. And then with quarterback, like I said, play a guy in a high game total. I'm probably going to have Ertz as my cash quarterback. I just feel like that's kind of the way I'm gravitating there. But I really like Mahomes, man. The more I look at it, you kind of started to sway me a little bit. I might be looking at Mahomes. He could be in my cash quarterback. I don't know. We'll have to check that out. But all that being said, let's round it out. Who's your favorite stack? I'll give you mine, and we're going to go home, Duff.
Yeah, my favorite stack is probably the KC Arizona game. Okay. Or the Las Vegas Chargers game. Those are the two at the moment I'm looking at stacking.
Yeah, I love that, man. Yeah, God, I was hoping the Las Vegas and the Chargers game was going to be a little bit lower owned, but it sounds like you're on it. There might be a lot of other people that are looking at that. I just think that's a divisional game, and both of those teams, they're really going to be competing. I think that any one of them or KC, that's a wide open division. So I really do like the Chargers and the Raiders. Something I'm going to be looking at. The public's going to be on the KC Arizona game, understandably so. There's a few games that I'm going to nix and I'm going to kind of avoid here. I think that obviously Eagles and Detroit is going to be a good stack. But my favorite stack, I don't want to go over there and talk about everything. It's probably going to be I'm going to just stack it as a low-owned game, and I hope that it pays off. But I feel like this New Orleans and Atlanta game is not going to be talked about enough because they don't have the same marquee names, maybe, whatever it is. Jameis Winston could have a really good game here, but, you can run some really cool lineups there. I don't know. It feels like it could work. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, man, like I said, I appreciate you, Duff. I appreciate all the takes and everything. There's a lot that we could always talk about. But as promised, guys, we didn't want to go too long here. We appreciate you. Be sure to check us out at yourfielderschoice.com. Make sure to check out that cheat sheet. All the articles are available right now. If they are premium, we do have that premium access for half off right now as a promo. So keep an eye out for that. Man, I appreciate you, brother. Go Pack Go come this Sunday. Go today. I know you got a lot of college ahead of you guys. So be sure, guys, also hit that thumbs up. Give us the subscribe and the like. We appreciate you guys as always. This is Your Fielder's Choice coming at you from Chris Duffy. My name's Adam Villarreal at YFC Sports V12 at Duff. Duff, that handle, bro, I'm going to have to make sure to put that in here. I'm looking at your handle on here, and I got to make sure that I don't enter it incorrectly. I already followed you.
No problem.
All right, guys, y'all have a good day. I appreciate you. And this is YFC NFL DFS Breakdown signing out. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.